Okay guys, this is Doc back again. I want to show you the new swing assist guide arm, okay, parts. Like I said, we already know the first one was an absolute catastrophe. So I totally redesigned it. I don't know if you can see me in there, but anyway, here I am. You just need to listen to my voice and look at what I'm doing. Okay, we learned a few things. Number one, we didn't need a ball joint, okay, to give you up and down motion. We just needed something to give you up and down motion. The ball joint was proven to be just a really, really poor design. Okay, so this just goes around. You can see how much more beefy this is. The old system had a little bitty pin in it, and that's where, you know, all of your motion with the swing arm is going to be here with this left hand. I'm not, by the way, I'm not going to show you the handle or the little storage clip. That works. Okay, the things that didn't work was this right here, what I called the pivot joint assembly, okay, and the straps. The straps were breaking, okay. So anyway, so start going back with this. Instead of a ball joint that gives you all kinds of motion you don't need, because what it ended up doing was weakening the whole system, this just gives you an up and down motion, okay, so you don't, with like some other swing arms out there, when you move up, it breaks the thing. So you're not going to break this because it moves this way. All right, then this is where the swing arm rod will fit into, and I've just got a regular rod right here. I don't have the one from the swing arm, but there's a little button, goes right in there, okay? It gives you that perfect little snap in, and if you want to, once you get it adjusted, because we give you a long handle, and then you can go ahead and cut it, or a long rod, you can go ahead and cut it to whatever your preference is, and then you know, you can either cut it on that end and then glue the handle on, or if you glue the handle on and you still don't like what length it is, then you can go down here and cut this, put glue on it, and shove it in here. You know, if you get to that point. But otherwise, you just stick that little button, push the button in just like on a regular rod, an adjustment rod, and line it up with the button, and it pops right in, and there you go. Okay, so then this goes on your detector rod, all right, with this strap, and I'll show you a couple things we learned about that. And then what I did, which I thought was much smarter, rather than doing some little dinky pin or any kind of a pin whatsoever, that because this is going to get the most movement, you know, it's going to be like this, I decided, let's just use a nylon nut and bolt. If that breaks, I can send you another one. It's not an issue, and it probably won't break at all. So the heavy duty nut and bolt, this is much thicker than the ones that go on the bottom of the rod to attach your rod to a detector, okay? So put that on there. I mean, you might even want to put a little Loctite on there, okay, if you want to make sure that that thing is secure, or cut it off and meld it so it doesn't come off. But so there you go. Now you got the movement you need, okay, with something that can be easily replaced if it breaks, and I doubt this thing will break. I mean, it's pretty substantial. Now, something we found out about the strap was absolutely worthless. They didn't make it out of the material I told them to make it out of, so it was just ripping. I mean, it would literally, you go put any pressure on it, it'd break. So this one, you're not breaking it, okay? It's just made of the kind of material that they should have made it of in the first place. Now, something we found out about the strap is I tried to make this so it'll fit any detector, which meant I had to give you, you know, quite a bit of room up here, because now we've got diamond-shaped rods, we've got, you know, a triangular-shaped rod. There's all different kinds of rods. So we made this longer because what I found out is there's two different ways you can put the strap in depending on what size your rod is, and having it a little longer allows you to do it two different ways. Now, the way I had been doing it was to simply go in, go over the rod, okay? So your rod would be laying in through here. Matter of fact, let me see if I can get this out. I'll show you. All right, so you'd lay your detector rod in here, because that's what you're hooking it to. You would come over and go through here. That's the other reason I made it longer, because it's easier to get it through things if it's a little longer. Okay, you pull it through, and then you come back through here. Tighten it up and fix it onto the hole. Now, I gave you extra holes too. I gave you an extra hole here and an extra hole here, again, depending on the rod. Now, that makes for a pretty good fitting, and this is a small rod. This is much smaller than your detector rod. Okay, the other way we found out that you could do this is if you got a really weird shaped rod, is instead of coming through that first slit and going over the rod, if you've got a really weird rod that's not round, if you'll go under the rod first, okay, then lay the rubber, then lay this in on the rubber, because the rubber sort of conforms to whatever size your rod is. Now go back over the rod and bring it through, all right, and then tension it and put it in there. And that gives you a fit for just almost any rod, because what you're doing is you're actually cushioning it between this rubber. The other thing I'm going to do is supply with each of these is a little double adhesive 3M tape, the foam tape that you can peel off each side. That way you can put it on the strap, and once you get this situated on your detector rod where you want it, you can back this thing back off, put a little piece of that 3M adhesive on the inside of that strap, and that will secure it to your rod. It's never gonna move. So there you go. There's your action right there. You'd have your swing arm in here, and it moves this way and it moves this way, but it's not sloppy, because I think that sloppiness of that ball joint was what was causing breakage, as well as the fact that the thing was just under-engineered. I mean, this part here was maybe, this particular pivot joint rod was about, oh, I don't know, a ½ inch thick. This is almost an inch thick, okay? This is almost an inch thick. This part here had a little bitty pin in it the size of a pencil lead to pivot on. That's not gonna work. So I think we got a design now that's gonna be perfect, and it's gonna be robust, and it'll hold up to all the tough, acrobatics that us detectors put our equipment through. But anyway, much better design. Like I said, I had a local tooling shop. I took all my drawings that I'd done, and I said, hey, can you make something like this for me? Because I have to get this manufactured, and it's just too hard. When you're working with China, one of the things is not so much a language barrier, because they usually have people that speak extremely good English, but it's hard with only pictures and the written word to try to convey exactly what it is you're trying to do. Although they're pretty darn good, I'll give them that. Much easier to send them a prototype and go, hey guys, this is sort of what I'm talking about, see what you can do. As a matter of fact, here, let me show you what Okay, so this was the prototype I sent them. I took one of the old pieces and ground off that, and this is what the guys at the tool shop did for me. They did this, I glued it on, and then I showed them this, okay, and this is where the rod goes, this is going to be the pivot joint, etc. And so, hey, when you give them that, you can give them enough information that they can run with it, and they can produce something like this. And because of their design engineering over there, they know what to beef up, what not to beef up. So, they even made this a little thicker than what it was on here, because that didn't give enough clearance around the hole to prevent breakage. So anyway, this is not going to break. I mean, unless you take a hammer to it, I guess. But this is made of fiberglass impregnated nylon, which is the same thing they make car parts out of. When you open your car hood and you see that cover over your main fuse box, that thing is all made of this very same material. All right, so that's it. So that is hopefully the end of a bad saga and the beginning of the new saga. It'll be a while before I get these in, because these were just the prototypes that they sent me to make sure that everything was okay this time. Last time I they had sent me the prototype, but yeah, it looked like it was okay, but I needed to get some out in the field and have the guys test them to see. Well, it took about 45 minutes for guys to start coming back and going, oh, this thing is a piece of crap. So anyway, back to the drawing board. We'll do the same with this. We'll try to find some of those guys that tested the first one and have them test this one and make sure that, you know, that it's as good as it seems like it is. All right, thanks for hanging in there with me, guys. I think this is sort of peculiar that a manufacturer would share with you the, you know, all the trials and tribulations of manufacturing something, but that's the way this business is. You know, first I came up against, you know, Chinese New Year, of course. That means they're off for 3 weeks. You don't get anything done then. Then boom, this Kung flu hits, and of course now they're all, you know, holed up. But things where this is made are outside of that Wuhan. They're way up north, and they said while they have some cases, it's pretty much under control. So that's good news. But still, as I said, we're going to be taking a lot of precautions to make sure that all this stuff is disinfected before it ever gets into your hands. Thanks for hanging with me. Thanks for patronizing my dealers, my top dealers like Rob Allison and Bill Southern and Chris Golson. Those guys, you know, make sure that their customers get these quality products that I produce. And I really thank them because they're fantastic people to deal with, and I hope you continue to give them your business. Take care. DocsDetecting.com.